Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Aquarius. If Aquarius is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's get started. Okay, let's check out these tea leaves tonight. Let's see what they have to say. And the card that we have for the reading tonight is the Ten of Cups, which is related to satiety. I just have a little bit of problem saying that. And so, what is this card what is the tone of this card? Kind of inner perfection, like a desire for inner perfection, doing the work, being kind of in a posture of optimism, confidence, maybe warm feelings. Okay. And so not really a terrible card to pull. And as you can see, there's a lot of little pieces in the tea. Getting towards the end of this batch. And so we get to open a new bag. Always one of my favorite times. All right. So what are we looking at here? We have a few different animals. This one looks like a stork. This one looks like a moose person upright. Okay, and so let's talk about those two. The moose, of course, vast, large, humongous, very powerful. It's quite a stature, right? This really kind of ties into that confidence, that spiritual, emotional confidence, but also that physical kind of domination, being really fully in oneself, present in one's body. You don't have to feel perfect. You don't have to be in perfect health or anything like this, but to really feel like you are aware, you are kind of listening to your body. You feel that, there's so many times in our life where we're just on autopilot, right? We're just kind of going through our days. We don't even notice. There have been times that I don't notice that I have maybe accidentally burnt myself a little bit while I was baking, which I do often. I touch the hot pan or something. I get my elbow or part of my arm or something. Just a tiny little bit. And I'm so kind of off in this different mind state of thinking about the recipe or what's going on, what is my kid doing, just kind of not fully aware that I kind of did just burn myself a little bit. And then I get in the shower later and I realize, oh my gosh, that hurts when there's water on there. And so we can get into these states where we are not fully connected to our physical. But when I look at these animals that are very large and their attributes, this is often a very physically activated being. These are beings that have to be somewhat conscious of their movements. They burn a lot of calories just existing. I talk about this a lot with the bison, or when I see the rhinos, or, just large animals. And so when I see the moose, I think that this is a very wise, confident, but also physically aware being. So I think that there is a focus on your physicality. I think that you have been very mindful about whatever it is, maybe intentional movement, maybe, keeping track of health issues, or, going in for testing regularly. I know, some of us, we fall behind here and there and forget to go get checked up or whatever. And next thing you know, it's been 1 or 2, 3 years. And where's that time gone, right? So I think you're a little better at keeping track of making sure that you are on top of the health issue stuff, or making sure that there are no arising health issues. I also think that even just picturing a moose in my head, we often see these videos of them. I've never seen one in real life, but of them kind of, walking down the road, and they're big and towering, and, everybody, all the people looking at them, they look like miniatures, right? So I kind of get this thought of going for kind of like a wandering walk this week. Maybe there's some anxiety arising in your life. Maybe you are feeling cooped up a little bit. Your schedule has not allowed for you to have, those moments of kind of break and contemplation, a little bit of serenity. And so maybe something like taking an afternoon or an evening walk, or, early in the morning. Those are very nice as well. But, a couple days a week, 3, 4 days a week, even if you can, getting out there, maybe after dinner. Nothing better than taking a nice stroll around the neighborhood after you've had a dinner, and you're going to take in those last hours before all of the mosquitoes descend and kind of just, let go of some of that static energy that you might have built up. Okay, and so we're also looking at the stork. Of course, the fertility relationship there, I think related very much to creativity in this sense, not necessarily a physical fertility, although it could be, right? Maybe a child coming soon, a new grandchild, or family member having a child, a friend having baby energy, right? But I think more so than that, this is more of an emotional creativity. This is a psychic creativity. I do believe that, and I get this impression that recently you have been, and I'm looking at this one, there's the person here, okay, and then there's the person here, kind of be looking at each other, right? Having a conversation. And I feel that there's been somebody you've been speaking to, or you had, maybe a series of conversations, maybe one conversation. Either way, I think this was a long conversation, and I think this was a very emotional and spiritual conversation. I think that this is somebody that when you find yourselves crossing paths, you have a prior relationship of some kind, but you don't see each other often, and maybe can go months and years without speaking. Not because you don't want to, but that's how life is sometimes. And I think when you cross paths and you get into talking, and you just have a magnetic pull to one another. And I think that it's just this sense of talking about things that you just don't find yourself talking about with most other people. I think that it is a very, it can be a very pleasurable experience. It can also be emotional. It can be difficult, but in a way that feels safe and protected. You feel heard. They feel heard. There's not that judgment there. I think that through the conversation, there's a lot of evolution, and going from one topic to another. It kind of feels natural. It's easy. And I think that you come out of the conversation not, thinking about, oh, why did I say that? Or, what did they mean by that? There's none of that. It just feels nice. It feels nice to really connect with somebody on this level. But there are also, and this is, I think, what really makes it something special and a place where you can go deep, is that there's no expectation from this conversation, from this relating. I think that this is a situation where you just really enjoy talking to one another. You want to catch up. You want to share your ideas, your thoughts, your feelings. And, you can sit and talk for hours. And then, you hug and say your goodbyes. And it's a happy parting. And I don't think that most of us have that happen very often. And so when it does, it's very notable. And I think that this has been something, it feels like your cup is filled from this interaction. And and I'm seeing a cup right there. And I really think that this is something that felt very needed, kind of like feeling out of touch with your body. Sometimes we feel out of touch with the fact that we need to connect with somebody. It doesn't have to be romantic. It doesn't have to be consistent, but sometimes we just need to be heard. And this, I think, kind of was an unplanned thing, and it just happened. And you're feeling, lighter because of it, but also like your reserves are filled because you feel that you have, really been seen, and you have seen. It's just a nice matched energy. Okay, now I want to look at this one. It looks like a duck. And then this looks like, I'm seeing like a child sitting on, like those, they're at the playground. It's like a little horse, like that little metal horse, or, they're different animals, but they sit on them and they kind of rock back and forth. And I feel that this is really kind of tied to a happy energy. Just, I think, kind of just enjoying something very simplistic, maybe even nostalgic, doing something you haven't done in a long time. And I think that, you just are in a place where you are okay in most of your other parts of your life, maybe financially, within your home life, domestic life. Your spiritual life seems to be going well. And I think that you just really are kind of, just on this little mini journey to enjoy the simple things in life right now. I also see with the duck, which seems to be in the water swimming. I feel like you are just kind of shooting through the water, unfazed and traveling forth and, just have about your happy little life right now. Just kind of like you see ducks, they just kind of are, doing their thing, not bothered by anything going on around them. Even when there's a wild storm, you'll see them in the lakes, just going with the, going on the waves. I want to look at this one. This one caught my eye. Okay, and it looks like a little boat, and this is in that emotional area. And I'm thinking, okay, so we're on you're on this emotional journey. And I think that it really is just this kind of feeling of releasing things, moving forward, not hanging on to old resentments, old hurts. I think you've done a lot of self-exploration, but also kind of looking at things from your past that were painful. And I think at this moment, you are just about moving forward. There's not a lot of reason to dwell on it right now. And I think that, that makes sense. You feel like you're at a place where things are feeling warm, confident, optimistic. There is the will for some kind of inner perfection, spiritual perfection, whatever that means. If that is religious or otherwise. And I think that you're in a good place. I think of just unbothered. Okay. And I think that's also why this conversation kind of happened for you recently. I'm going to take a drink here. Trying to quietly take a drink. I know it annoys some people when they hear the sound of somebody having a drink on the thing, which I get. I mean, it's not like the nicest sound, I'm sure. But anyways, I think that the conversation could happen because you were receptive to connecting with somebody like that. And those kinds of connections are hard when you're in like a pretty, crap place. So, I think that you really, got yourself ready for that. Let's see. I want to see. We have these two people kind of meeting, and I think that has to do with what we were talking about before with these up here. We have it mirrored again, and maybe, this will be interestingly coming back into contact with the same person. I don't think that you often see them or hear from them, but I think that they will be back around again pretty soon. So I think that this is kind of a nice time to be engaging with them, maybe making some kind of plans. Maybe there is a reason, some kind of mutual work, spiritual work, magical work. But I do see the two of you getting back together soon. Okay, and so we also have an I and a T. So we have it. I don't know what that means. I'm not sure. Maybe you know. If you do, Put it in the comments. It might be initials, IT. But I don't know. I'm not quite sure. Okay, and then we have a bridge here. Okay. And, you know, crossing over the bridge. I think crossing over into a new time for you, a new kind of essence. There's a new cycle that has begun right in time for this new season coming up. And I think probably, you know, it seems like there's just been some amount of, I'm trying to think. There's just been some amount of not being able to kind of carry these things with you, almost like resentments maybe. Like I said, it could be hurts, old hurts. But I think whatever has happened recently in the last couple years at least, I think it's just, you know, sometimes we just get into these places in our lives where we just can't bear another moment of living in the identity or the personas or, you know, the kind of person that people think that we are, the things that our family kind of apply to us, things that happened when we were young that kind of marked us in some way, you know, and sometimes you just end up moving away and starting a different life. But other times, you know, you stay and you grow, and you know, for whatever reason, we just hold on to some of these little fragments of identity that people still kind of view within us, even though these are things we've shed a long time ago, or they were just so momentary that it's absurd that they become, you know, indicators of our being, right? But then you get to these points in your life where you just cannot abide that anymore, and you won't. And so you do what you must to just kind of reinvent yourself, process through some of the things, maybe the shame or, you know, the guilt, whatever it is that keeps it kind of tied to you. And then, you know, you let it go, and you hopefully, you know, don't have to continue going back to it. And, you know, sometimes we do. We think about the things, especially traumas and that kind of stuff. But, you know, you carry it in a different way, right? A way that, you know, you have more control over its access to you and your access to it. And also, I think that, you know, you just get to a point where when people treat you in such a way or bring things up, and it's like, you know, that energy is not welcome. You know, that's some old thing. And, you know, I think you get to a place too where you just kind of, it's like it's not confrontational, but it's like you have to just kind of stick up for yourself, right? And let people know how you want to be treated. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. I think that's a wonderful place to get into. Let's look at this. So we have a lot of emotional movement here. a lot of tea and a lot of little pieces, and they seem very fluid. Okay. And so I think that this is just, you know, it's a good time. I feel like you are feeling very nice, very, very happy with where you have arrived. And, you know, I think there will be moments where, you know, these emotional things kind of sneak up. But I think that you are coping well, and you're doing all the things that you need to do. And, you know, I think just doing little, you know, whatever it is that meditation, breathing, exercise, intentional movement, swimming, whatever, you know, we talked about maybe doing, going on walks, you know, and whatever. I'm in love with this idea of after dinner. I love that for you. So, you know, just doing something practical. Okay. And I don't think you need a lot more than that right now. On top of the, you know, of course, on top of the other things that you have going on in life. But just adding something simple, something loose, something that, you know, isn't super rigid. And I think that's, you know, I think that's the reading. Okay, so I do want to thank you so much, Aquarius. I'm always so honored to be able to bring these messages to you. I would be so happy if you would like the video. It helps us get into the algorithm. If you have not subscribed yet, please think about subscribing. And if you'd like to leave a comment, I read all of them. I try to get back to them as fast as I can. Sometimes that's pretty quick, and sometimes it takes a day or two. But either way, I'm going to read them, and I'm going to get back to you. So, I thank you, and we will talk again real soon.